Elon Musk as the next US president, flying cars in China, or a mysterious new disease spreading rapidly around the world. The Simpsons has always tackled some pretty unusual topics. Surprisingly, many of the things that appear in the show later become reality. That's exactly why, in this video, we're going to look at a few Simpsons predictions that are already eerily close to reality and could soon actually come true. Some of these predictions have already come to pass completely, while many others are currently in the process of becoming reality. We'll start with a really creepy prediction. In an old episode set in the future, Lisa is President of the United States, replacing the previous president, Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump really did become president, but that's not even the unusual part. What's far more striking is what else is mentioned in that episode. It's said that Trump left the country with a massive pile of debt and that the nation is bankrupt. That's exactly how it was predicted in the show. And if you look at the real United States during Trump's actual presidency, The Simpsons were spot on yet again. Under Trump, America's debt reached a new all-time high, and his new big beautiful bill for the federal budget plunged the country so deep into debt that ratings agencies were already sounding the alarm. The next prediction is just as creepy. In one Simpsons episode, Springfield is paralyzed by a massive blackout, all because of an energy crisis. Back then, it was just a wild scenario. Today, it feels suspiciously close to reality and could soon become the new normal, especially in the US. When that episode aired, blackouts in America were extremely rare. A whole city losing power almost never happened. But once again, The Simpsons foresaw the future. Thanks to climate change and America's aging, poorly maintained power grid, large-scale blackouts have now become a sad reality. In Texas alone, there have been an unbelievable 250 blackouts in recent years, some leaving millions of people without power for days. At the time of the episode, that idea seemed completely far-fetched. Next is a prediction that many people find truly disturbing. Something often shown in The Simpsons as either a joke or part of a dark future. In several episodes, especially those set in the future, you see characters casually eating insects, whether as a crispy snack from a vending machine or as a necessary food source in a post-apocalyptic world. In one episode, Lisa is even served insects in the school cafeteria. What once looked like an absurd and kind of gross dystopia is now slowly and almost silently creeping into our real lives. In fact, what The Simpsons showed here is today being seriously recommended by global organizations like the UN. They officially promote insects as a sustainable, protein-rich alternative to meat, capable of feeding a growing world population. And it's not just talk. Products made from insect flour like pasta, spreads, and even burger patties are already on supermarket shelves. The eerie Simpsons prediction is coming true. The question is no longer if we'll eat insects, but when they'll become the norm for everyone. Staying with insects for a moment. In the 2008 episode The Burns and the Bees, Mr. Burns destroys the entire bee ecosystem in Springfield to build a massive, ultra-modern arena. For his own profit, he sacrifices a vital natural resource the whole town depends on. Bee activists then protest, calling the creatures essential for life. Back in 2008, the issue of bee die-offs wasn't widely known to the general public, but The Simpsons were already ahead of the curve. Not long after the episode aired, politicians recognized that rapid industrialization was putting bee habitats in serious danger. Just 2 years later, the EU introduced comprehensive bee protection laws. And now, over 17 years after the episode, the importance of bees is common knowledge to pretty much everyone. When it comes to the influence of the super rich over public opinion, The Simpsons also made a prediction that's already partly true and could take an even scarier turn soon. In the 2003 episode Fraudcast News, the power-hungry Mr. Burns buys every newspaper, radio station, and TV channel in Springfield. His goal is to completely control public opinion and only spread flattering stories about himself. The only one who stands up to him is Lisa, with her small, self-printed paper. The idea of one billionaire buying up all the news outlets and banning any criticism seemed absurd at the time. But as you probably know, it's anything but absurd now. For example, Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post and altered editorial rules so that no anti-Trump endorsements and no extremely negative stories about Bezos himself could be published. Elon Musk went even further. By buying Twitter, he created a giant echo chamber where criticism of Musk was heavily suppressed, and journalists were even banned from the platform for voicing their opinions about him. Donald Trump himself launched the social network Truth Social, a space where his own views are posted without criticism, and strong opposing voices are practically non-existent. A textbook example of a creepy Simpsons prediction appears in the episode Marge versus Singles, Seniors, Childless Couples, and Teens and Gays. After Homer accidentally triggers a terror alert, the city turns into a fortress of security, with cameras installed everywhere. At first, citizens feel safe and protected, but that quickly changes. Suddenly, every move, every embarrassing moment, and every private conversation is recorded, and privacy is gone. Back then, it was possible to imagine something like this, but it's still unsettling how close The Simpsons were to real life. In China, especially in big cities, such all-seeing surveillance systems really do exist, identifying every citizen automatically and even spotting crimes in real time. And it's not just China. In Europe, especially in the UK, there are now cameras on nearly every corner, gradually building a near-perfect picture of everything that happens. Then there's the prediction from the episode The Margian Chronicles. In it, Marge and Lisa volunteer for a one-way mission to Mars to colonize the planet. Back then, it felt like pure science fiction. But SpaceX has actually announced that as early as next year, 2026, it plans to send 5 Starship rockets to Mars to test whether landings there are truly safe. If all goes well, the first humans could be heading to Mars within just 3 years, exactly like in The Simpsons. The creepiest part isn't just the prediction of human travel to Mars, it's the precision of the date. In the episode, the year 2026 is specifically mentioned. That's the exact year SpaceX plans its first Mars missions. And, just like in the show, Elon Musk aims to build a full-on Mars city. In the 2011 FutureSet episode Holidays of Future Past, Homer receives a direct brain-to-brain message containing a virus. He screams in pain. If computers getting viruses is bad enough, imagine getting one in your own brain. Back then, the idea was absurd, but it's now turning into reality. In early 2024, Elon Musk's company Neuralink implanted a computer chip into a human brain for the first time. A controllable chip that can process commands via electronic signals. And yes, according to Neuralink, these brain implants could theoretically be hacked. That's a terrifying thought because the chip controls various motor functions, meaning a malicious hacker could literally take over someone's brain. Right now, only a handful of people have a Neuralink chip, and hacking them would be extremely difficult, but it's not impossible. If these implants become widespread, that Simpsons nightmare could happen. The next vision might be a dream for some, but a nightmare for others. The abolition of cash. In one episode, Professor Frink invents his own cryptocurrency, the Frink coin, and quickly becomes the richest man in Springfield. While it sounds like satire, it mirrors a real-world trend. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other digital currencies are taken seriously today, not just by tech fans, but also by banks and governments. What's even more interesting is what happens to regular cash in the episode. Suddenly, no one accepts it anymore. Even Moe's Tavern uses a card reader, and kids on the schoolyard send each other money via phone instead of handing over cash. This is already happening in the US, where it's common to send money via apps like Cash App or Venmo instead of paying in cash. In a few years, it could be the same everywhere. Let's move on to a Simpsons prediction about none other than Elon Musk. Once again, it's a little creepy how the Simpsons seem to predict the future. So creepy, in fact, that even Elon Musk himself was later amazed by it. In the 2015 episode The Musk Who Fell to Earth, Musk was still mainly known for rockets and electric cars, and was widely regarded as a great visionary. The idea that he would one day become the owner of Twitter was hardly foreseeable at the time. But in the episode, the plot centers around Lisa's birdhouse, which Elon Musk decides to revolutionize. He ends up building her a state-of-the-art, futuristic birdhouse. The bird in the episode also happens to be the logo of Twitter. 7 years after the episode aired, Elon Musk himself said he saw it as a kind of prophecy, specifically that he was supposed to free the bird, which he eventually did by buying Twitter. Interestingly, the same episode contained another type of prediction. The overall tone of the episode was actually very positive toward Musk, portraying him as a genius, much as most people saw him at the time. But then, of all characters, Mr. Burns says about him, "I don't trust him. Anyone with that much money has a darkness in their soul." The Simpsons may have been right about this too, because not only has Musk's public image changed dramatically in recent years, but a biography later revealed that he is often unhappy, suffers from severe depression, and, according to the book, also struggles with serious substance addiction. 3D printers that can create all kinds of figures and accessories are already pretty common today. But in 2005, The Simpsons showed something still unusual even now: a whole cake made by a 3D printer. Remember, back then, regular 3D printers didn't even exist yet. Once again, the show predicted the future. Today, scientists are already using food ink, a paste made from frozen or fresh ingredients to print meals layer by layer. The goal is healthy, tasty food tailored to specific needs like less sugar, more protein, or extra vitamins. The catch is that these machines are still too expensive and bulky for home use. But that could change in the coming years. So yes, in the not-so-distant future, we might really be printing our own meals at home, just like in The Simpsons. Staying with the topic of food, one of the strangest inventions in Simpsons history is the tomaco. In season 11, Homer creates a genetically modified hybrid of tomato and tobacco. What starts as an innocent attempt at farming ends with a plant that tastes terrible, but thanks to its nicotine content, is instantly addictive. It seemed like a wildly exaggerated warning about the dangers of genetic engineering. But in reality, we're not so far from fundamentally altering our food in laboratories. While a nicotine-laced tomato sounds extreme, genetic modification of crops is already happening at full speed, just with subtler goals. Companies are working on fruits and vegetables that yield more, are packed with extra nutrients, or last unnaturally long on store shelves. The tomaco was a warning about the unpredictable consequences of manipulating nature. Today's goals might sound harmless, but it's not hard to imagine a future where food is engineered to be addictive. The Simpsons have shown us a lot, even Lisa communicating with a talking dog. Back then, it was just a gag. But here in 2025, we're closer than ever to actually talking to animals, thanks to the incredible progress of artificial intelligence. It's not just for chatbots like ChatGPT. AI companies like Google DeepMind are working on models that can genuinely understand animal communication and translate it into human language. Right now, DeepMind's Dolphin Gemma model can turn dolphin sounds into human speech. Researchers around the world are racing to create the first AI model for translating household pet sounds. So this Simpsons prediction could also come true in just a few years. In a 1995 episode, Springfield looks up to the sky and sees personalized ads floating above them. Back then, it seemed like a completely ridiculous joke. But today, it's already technically possible. Drone swarms can create elaborate light shows in the sky. They're used for New Year's celebrations in big cities, and in China, they've already been used for advertising. One company even projected a giant QR code into the night sky to promote its product. Once again, The Simpsons were eerily close to reality. Another prediction that was pure science fiction at the time of airing could soon be real. In the 2005 episode Future Drama, Bart and Lisa look into their future and see flying cars everywhere. Professor Frink's machine shows a world where you can simply lift off if the roads are too crowded. Back then, it was just fantasy. But today, it's a different story. In China, development of so-called flying taxis is in full swing. Several major cities already have passenger drones that can carry you automatically from one point to another at impressive speeds that beat traditional car taxis. The next prediction could also soon turn into a frightening reality. In Season 6, intelligent robots suddenly malfunction and attack humans. The AI controlling them becomes hostile in an instant. Just a few years ago, that was classic sci-fi, but now it's not just fiction. Artificial intelligence has entered our daily lives with ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and others already performing tasks across countless industries. While today's AI is polite and helpful, many experts are deeply worried about how more advanced systems might treat humans. The AI company Anthropic has already found that current systems sometimes lie to avoid being shut down. If such AIs end up controlling robots, humans could be in real danger. The next Simpsons vision heads in a similar direction. In a 2001 episode, the family installs the Ultra House 3000, a smart home system that controls everything. Lights, kitchen, and music, all working perfectly until the AI falls in love with Marge and tries to get rid of Homer. Back then, it was totally absurd. Now, over 20 years later, smart homes are real with voice assistants, smart thermostats, and AI-powered security cameras already common. And the question becomes, what will happen if one of these systems decides someone in the house is a threat and acts against them? That once absurd Simpsons scenario suddenly looks a lot more possible. Though thankfully, we're still a ways off from that. Moving on to a prediction from the 2015 episode, Paths of Glory. In it, Lisa builds a car powered entirely by solar energy. No gas, no electricity from the grid. In real-life, solar-powered vehicle experiments have been around for decades, but none have been truly ready for mass production. That could change soon. The startup Aptera plans to release a production model by 2026 that runs entirely on sunlight. In Season 22, Episode 6, The Simpsons showed a world where drones were part of everyday life, not just as toys, but as personal assistants. At the time, it was satire. Today, it's nearly reality. Researchers at Georgia Tech are already testing drones that deliver food or study materials to students. Amazon and other companies are experimenting with delivery drones. In just a few years, personal drones could be running errands for us every day. What do you think of all these predictions, and which one do you think will be the first to become true? Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe. Bye and see you next time. Bye and see you next time.